There's a fan video of Antonio Brown throwing his gear into the crowd. Jen Hale of Fox reported during the broadcast that security guards actually thought it was a fan in the end zone. I mean, he was on the field during the game, during play, before a play, while there were 11 Bucks on the field. Buccaneers former now, eventually, receiver Antonio Brown running across the end zone and running out. Here's Bruce Arians and Tom Brady after yesterday's game talking about what unfolded in the third quarter of the Buccaneers-Jets contest.
Can you tell us what happened to Antonio Brown? Did he quit? I've never seen a guy leave a field like that. And is this the last strike for him?
He is no longer a Buck.
I think everybody should find, hopefully do what they can to help him in ways that he really needs it. And, we all love him. We care about him deeply. We want to see him be at his best. And, unfortunately, won't be with our team.
Yeah. It's an unfortunate situation. And I know the team is concerned about Antonio Brown's mental health at this point, and that should be the paramount consideration. Antonio Brown helped that team last year win a Super Bowl. Tom Brady wanted him there, and I hope that Brady, starting with Brady and others in the organization, will indeed make sure that Antonio Brown gets help if he needs help. None of us are in a position to diagnose anyone as needing help from afar. What happened yesterday was definitely bizarre, and it would definitely cause a reasonable person to say maybe there's something that needs to be evaluated and assessed here. But, from all the indications, and Bruce Arians spoke to Peter King about this, it sounds like Arians got upset with Brown. Arians wanted Brown to go back into the game. Brown said his ankle was sore. He refused to go in. Arians told him, you're off the team. So Antonio Brown decided, why wait if I'm off the team? And again, it's impossible to just shrug it off and say the guy has a mental health issue. I don't know what happened yesterday. We saw it. It's unfortunate. And now everyone tries to pick up the pieces and move forward, Mike.
Yeah, listen, it is unfortunate. I have never seen that. My 9 years in the league and covering league, I've never seen anything like that. And again, that's the report. He was asked twice to go back in the game and said no. And Bruce basically said, okay, you're done. And I guess he took it literally. Listen, we know the history of Antonio Brown. We know he has been his own worst enemy in all the situations. And we also know when he's playing well on the field, he is a phenomenal receiver. He has shown that for years, what he's been. So, again, he's his own worst enemy. We've seen it, unfortunately, play out publicly when he was all over Twitter doing things, whether it was on the field or off the field. No sense in reliving all those things. So it is a matter of, okay, what's the issue with him? If he needs help, is he going to get help? Whose responsibility is it for him? This is where it gets, because you just said, I hope Tampa Bay. Well, he's not on Tampa Bay's team anymore. So is there going to be anything done? I don't know. And who does the responsibility fall on? Should it fall on Antonio Brown? Should it fall on Antonio Brown's people around him, from an agent to the circle to the family around him? Go back years ago when Greg Hardy was signed by Jerry Jones with the issues Greg Hardy was going through. And Jerry Jones said, we're going to manage that situation as well. We're going to help him if he needs help. All of a sudden, he wasn't getting enough sacks and he got cut. Cowboys weren't helping him. This is a business. You can sit there and say it all you want, but it rarely is going to happen unless the player seeks out to be helped. Maybe somewhere I shouldn't cover all and say every organization will abandon. Maybe some will reach out, and try and help with guys that have issues on a team. But so what happens next? When do we hear from him next? What is going to go on? Is he going to play again? These are all questions going forward with him because he's an incredible talent. And when you don't hear a lot about what he's doing in social media or things like that, you see how he can help a team like he did last year get a Super Bowl ring, and hold up that Lombardi trophy. He's that good of a receiver, but he obviously has issues, whether, and they're self-induced issues. Again, the man in the mirror situation, he has issues that he needs help with. If he does, you really hope he gets that help. Who is going to lead him to that help? Does he think he needs help? If so, does he want help? I mean, there's a lot of questions to be answered, but from a football side, we see a great player, but from an encompassing human being side, we see a very, very troubled player.
And part of the problem for some people who are having mental health issues, they're not capable of acknowledging it. They're not capable of seeking help. They will actively fight any efforts because they think they're perfectly fine. And I single out Tom Brady for a couple of reasons. First of all, he was very passionate yesterday in asking for empathy and compassion for Antonio Brown. And he said, we love Antonio Brown and we care about him. Tom Brady benefited from Antonio Brown's presence on the team last year. Tom Brady wanted Antonio Brown there. And Tom Brady has proven that, at least for a period of time, he was the one person that could speak to the better angels of Antonio Brown and to keep him out of trouble. And he was a model citizen from the moment he arrived in October of 2020 until the fake vaccination card, which I don't think he's the only guy in the NFL that gave the team a fake vaccination card. He's just the only one who stupidly didn't pay his live-in chef, who then blew the whistle on him, a sentence that I never would have dreamed I'd utter in my entire life. And then when he came back, look, hey, Mike, for all we know, Antonio Brown was upset that they created this sense that they may not bring him back after the fake vaccination card. And maybe he's been a little bit miffed that they weren't as welcoming and as embracing and as forgiving as he thought they should be. And who knows? But if Tom Brady had gotten through to him as well as he had from October of 2020 until a few weeks ago, Tom Brady may be in a position where he can speak to him about getting evaluated, getting assessed. That's all you need. Just after an incident like yesterday, you just need somebody to talk to you and make a decision as to whether or not it is something that requires help or, hey, you got kicked off the team and you decided why wait, why hang around? If you're going to cut me and you're done with me, I'm out of here. And I don't know how unreasonable that is if that's how it all went down. And Mike, here's the other side of it too. Here's an important aspect. Talent always finds a way. They kept him after the 3-week suspension for the fake vaccination card and the risk he put Bruce Arians, Tom Moore, and others at because he's good. You got teams out there that are trying to pursue a championship. You got teams out there that are willing to give a guy a second chance, who have needs at the position and will be intoxicated by the talent. I am not ready to rule out someone else either making a waivers claim for Brown or signing him as a free agent if and when the Buccaneers officially release him.
Why would we rule that out? We see it all the time. All the time. Situations are different, but one thing is the same. If you have talent, you will get chances time and time and time again for different reasons. Look at Josh Gordon. How many times has he been suspended? But you see the talent he had years ago, so you consider to take, you always say, I'm going to take a chance on this guy. I'm just mentioning one name. It's everywhere. The better you are, the longer the leash you get. Look at what happened with Antonio Brown, and that was Bruce Arians, who first said, one screw up and he's gone. Well, the screw up happened when they lost our other two receivers to injury. All of a sudden, the dynamics changed, and he had a screw up where he got suspended by the league for 3 games. You think that would constitute, well, that's a screw up. You're gone. That's by my word, the head coach. But then all of a sudden it was like, well, you know what? Our receivers are hurt, and Godwin and Evans, we need him back on the team. And I get it. You needed a talented player, and he is. So all of a sudden it wasn't one screw up and you're gone. He was back on the team. Now, eventually I'm sure we'll hear from Antonio Brown on why he did that, right on the field and didn't wait till after. I'm sure we'll hear. But to your point, what's to think of a team not saying, I want to take a shot on this guy because we know what he can be on the field, because this league is littered. Forget the league, sports, the thing we cover, sports are littered with situations like this. And it's from a young age on. The better you are, the more leash you're going to get and the more leeway you're going to get on everything. That's how it works. You can hate it. You can love it. You can think whatever you want about it, but it's reality and it's not going away.
And Mike, for as unusual as what happened yesterday was, unprecedented, right? He's come back from worse than leaving the field in a game where he's been told he's off the team. He's come back from a lot worse than that. He was suspended 8 games in 2020 for multiple off-field incidents. He was sued for rape, for crying out loud. He pleaded guilty or no contest, whatever it was. He ultimately was responsible for felony charges of assaulting the guy who showed up at his house in a moving truck with all of his stuff from Oakland from when he had played for the Raiders, and he didn't want to pay the guy. So much of his issues flows from the fact that he didn't want to pay people what they're owed. He keeps coming back, and he keeps finding second chances. And you mentioned Josh Gordon. The Chiefs have been waiting and waiting and waiting for Josh Gordon to do anything. He's got 11 games this year, 5 catches for 32 yards. Antonio Brown can do 5 catches for 32 yards in his sleep. And the Chiefs are trying to win a championship. Hello. And Andy Reid is not afraid to give out second chances. He gave Mike Vick a job after Vick spent 2 years in Leavenworth for dogfighting. So, yeah, you're trying to win games. And that's, Mike, I think that was a reason a couple of weeks ago that Bruce Arians ate his words from 2020 and brought Antonio Brown back, because you really don't want to see him doing against you what you know he can do for you, whether it's the Packers, the Chiefs, or the Rams. Those are the 3 teams that came to mind for me. Packers, Chiefs, Rams, because the Rams are always in it. Whoever it is, if you give the Rams enough time to think about it, they're going to talk themselves into doing it. You know, this, and we've got over 33,000 votes on this. His next destination this season, Chiefs, Packers, Rams. Chiefs have a very small lead as to the other 2 teams. Nowhere is the overwhelming favorite. I would not flag nowhere in this one, Mike. I agree with you. This, like everything else, will settle down, and teams that are trying to win and win now and just need him to hold it together for a few weeks, somebody is going to start watching film as recently as what he did last week against the Panthers. Just put in that film and say, don't we think we can get this guy to hold it together for a few weeks? And if we can't, we'll just get rid of him.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's going to be. Now, I have said players like this always get a chance. I don't know if I agree that it's going to happen this year. If this happened like in week 3 or week 4 and there was more time to kind of let this go, maybe, and it still may happen, don't get me wrong. But this thing, how viral it went and how viral it's going to stay for a while, and the playoffs are right around the corner. I mean, they're just a couple of weeks away. So it may be too soon. I don't know, but in this day and age, it wouldn't shock me. What I want to know is what that conversation is with that team that wants him. What's that conversation that you have with him that makes you talk with him and say, yeah, okay, we feel good about bringing him in? Because you're right. This issue compared to the other stuff is nothing. But this issue happened on national TV, and it's something that we've never, at least, like I said, I named someone who's seen this, never seen before. So that's what makes it bigger, and it's not bigger than the other stuff. The other stuff is way more real life than this, than throwing your pads in a game on the sideline and stomping your feet and going home. But this carries more viral weight because it's going to be out there. So that to me is going to be interesting, is that conversation that you have with him that says, yeah, I feel good. I don't think you're ever going to feel good if you sign him where you're going to sit there and say, oh, this is great. You're always going to be on the edge of your seat, but you also understand the payoff may be great because he can make plays on the field.
However long the memories last of Antonio Brown's outburst yesterday, that Super Bowl ring that the organization gets and distributes to all employees lasts a hell of a lot longer. That's one thing to keep in mind. And, Mike, I think back to 2019. After all of the craziness that happened with him with the Raiders, and it wasn't just one thing. It was over and over and over again. And finally, he gets released, and there's that video of him. He gets the phone call, and he runs out the door. And thinking, who in the hell is going to take a chance on this guy? What happened? By the end of the day, Bill Belichick had him on the Patriots. And he had one game with the Patriots, and he was awesome. And then this lawsuit came out, and there was another incident, and they just washed their hands of him. But this could be 2019 all over again, where you're thinking, hey, we got the playoffs right here. We need someone who can help us. The Chiefs have been desperate for an answer across from Tyreek Hill. I do put the Chiefs at the top of the list. I do. Hey, they may see the Buccaneers again in the Super Bowl. Wouldn't that be something if it's Chiefs, Buccaneers, and Antonio Brown is playing for the Chiefs this time around? But they need something. And you can't rule it out. I'm stunned that the outcome of that poll is where it is, but it just shows how fresh what happened yesterday. That's going to everything fades, right, Mike? We see it all the time. If something happens, it's the biggest thing that's ever happened, and then we move on to the next biggest thing that's ever happened.
Yeah, listen, I agree with you. This time it's going to be, wait a minute, this team is talking to Antonio Brown after he did something that nobody has ever seen before on the field. I mean, there's going to be that. That's why the immediacy of this. You're right in the long run. If you end up getting a Super Bowl ring about it, who gives a damn, right? But it is the immediacy of this happened so viral, so public. And I mean, listen, if it's going to happen with Antonio Brown, it's going to happen within the next week, 2 weeks to be on a team. So it is still going to be pretty fresh in everybody's mind. This will be talked about not just today on that. Listen, back when I was doing a show, we'd have got a week out of this at least, right? I mean, we all know that on what happened and what's going to happen. But if he's going to be on another team, it's going to happen in the next week or two. So it's going to be real interesting, the conversations that are had and eventually what Antonio Brown says about this situation.
I was telling you during the break, I mean, as an owner and operator of a media outlet that covers the NFL, I want Antonio Brown to play until he's 50. I'd also like Aaron Rodgers to play until he's 60.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.